Hello, hello. This is the most awkward part. Waiting for people to show up. Sir, why do you have to start all that noise the minute I go live? Oh, man. I should put my suitcase away. Hi. How are you? Hi, Angela. Thank you for joining. I was actually so worried that absolutely no one was going to join. My anxious thoughts started getting the better of me. Hi. Okay. What's up? How are you doing, Angela? Oh. Dude. I don't know what this is going to be. I have no idea how long I'm going to be on here. What exactly is this going to turn into? I'm just here. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope everything's, if not okay, at least better. I mean, being on medical leave, I'm assuming something really serious must have happened. So I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah. Is there anything that, it would be helpful to just talk about or just share? I don't know, whatever you're comfortable sharing, or if you just want to be here for the vibes, that's cool too. I need you to sit down somewhere. Being here for the vibes is fine. I don't know what the vibes are yet, but we'll make the vibes. I don't know. Y'all are going to see a lot of my cat's tail because for some reason, whenever I'm sitting in front of my computer and he can hear that I'm talking, regardless of who I'm talking to, he must make himself known and he must put himself in the middle of everything. Are you okay now? Well, happy Sunday, y'all. Hopefully it's been a restful Sunday so far. I'm not going to lie, I'm actually kind of tired. It feels like I did a lot today, even though I don't really think I did a lot today. But I meal prepped and stuff for my week. And when I was done, I was like, I could take a nap, but I didn't want to risk not waking up in time for this because I promised. And I don't like to break my promises. What are y'all up to today? What have y'all been doing? Oh my God. What bright ass gray hair. I feel that. I feel that heavy, Angela. Being in a doctoral program does that to you. But don't like psych yourself out too much. Sometimes you just got to trust that you made the right decision and you're here for a reason. And there are going to be a lot of things that test that belief in yourself along the way, but you just gotta feel it. Trust me, I feel like I've said this in so many videos, but I have definitely considered dropping out many, many times. And at some point it has become just like I'm so close to being done anyway. So I might as well just finish. But I have definitely spent many a night and day questioning my life decisions. You play pickleball? Okay, I need you, please, because I fully don't understand. What is the difference between tennis and pickleball other than the racket and the ball itself? Because they look the same to me, and I'm like trying to get like why everyone is suddenly into pickleball, and I don't get it. So please, Jalen, please explain to me because I want to understand. Also, you're starting your PsyD program this fall. That's exciting. Wow, so many people lately I've been meeting who are in PsyD programs, which is not something that I'm used to, but that's so cool. I'm excited for you. Are you excited? I hope you're excited. Cat's hair. It's just all over my face now. Who else is here? There's a third person here. I can see numbers. I can't see names. Third person watching. Make yourself known. Please. If you're comfortable. No pressure, though. Can you get out of my suitcase, sir? I really should have put that away. I've been trying to figure out the difference myself. Okay. I could see how that would be more fun. I also imagine it's like slightly less like tiring because you don't have to like run back and forth all by yourself, which I think would also make it more fun. I don't know. There are pickleball courts popping up all over the place, and it's a vibe. It's a thing people are into now. I don't know. I'm sure you don't suck. I can imagine playing for a few months. You're at least somewhat better than you were when you started. There's definitely probably been some improvement. You're probably not like, do they have pickleball championships? Is that a thing? Or tournaments? Tournaments, probably. That should be a thing. I would probably go watch a pickleball tournament. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely with like how many people have taken to pickleball versus tennis. I remember I tried playing tennis when I was younger. It was not for me. I struggled to just get the ball over the net. So I feel that. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna look for one and watch one. I like watching sports tournaments that are like the kind of sports you wouldn't imagine have tournaments, like ping pong tournaments. I'm outing myself a little bit right here. No, ping pong tournaments I love watching because they just get so intense and it's just really cool to me. This guy, what is? Um, I'm curious, what made you try pickleball though? Like, I was it like the fact that just like it's becoming more popular, or was it something you were already like aware of and just decided to try it out? Also, like, I don't want you to feel like I'm like asking intrusive questions about your life. Um, I'm just talking right now, and feel free if like you have any questions for me, just go ahead and ask. Um, I just started my internship, and um, yeah, so I'm just like I'm chilling right now. It's weird to like not have anything else to really focus on, like school or anything right now. So yeah, ask me anything. Really? Older seniors? I don't know why I feel like I have to see that. But also I feel like I can see it. I don't know what you mean by older, but since you said seniors, I'm assuming like 65 plus, which for some reason in my mind doesn't compute. Like I don't know why my brain can't visualize like people over 65 playing pickleball. I don't know. These are all things I just need to see at some point. Did you lose your toy? Is that why you're back? Yeah, I definitely need to see that. Not in like a weird, mean kind of way. I don't know. I just think it's interesting to see older people play sports that involve a lot of movement. And it's kind of like, it kind of makes me hopeful for like when I start to like really age and I don't feel like my life is slowly coming to a halt because like at 65 I probably won't be able to move around as nimbly as I do now. Sorry if I keep looking to the corner. I'm like watching my cat through the webcam to see what the hell he's doing. Um the modality I lean more towards. Yeah, so I do lean more psychodynamic, and I think that is purely just because of like the nature of my program. My program is a primarily psychodynamic program. More specifically, we're like briefly brief relational psychodynamic therapy, which is, if you're not familiar, is like usually somewhere between like 20, 30 sessions It's like time limited from the jump. The patient knows that, the therapist knows that. And the sort of logic behind it is that like having this sort of set time limit from the outset um, allows for the transference and countertransference to sort of be worked with more intentionally, which like I don't mind. I'm not like a huge fan of time limits. I think after my past 2 years, my externship that I was at a community clinic that was more like psychoanalytically oriented. I definitely found myself also really enjoying like that sort of orientation. And so where I'm at, I feel like currently with the way I practice, like when I'm not confined by some sort of training model that I'm being taught in the moment, is sort of like relational psychodynamic psychoanalytic. Like I sort of fall within those confines primarily. Um, Thank you, Angela. Um, yeah, research or clinical. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I'm curious though, because you said which one you enjoy more. So I'm assuming you, at a baseline, you enjoy doing both, or am I wrong in my interpretation of that? Um, because if you do enjoy doing both, I mean, I personally don't see the need in like having to like define yourself as like, oh, I'm pursuing a career in academia or I'm pursuing a clinical career. Like I've seen people do both. It's definitely a lot more work, but it's not impossible. And like there are people who do both for their entire careers. Um, so if you enjoy doing both, then do both, girl. Shit, don't let anyone put you in a box. I will say though, I definitely did also like toy with the idea of pursuing a career that was like an equal balance of research and clinical work. Um, and I think the one thing that sort of swayed me more towards clinical work, besides the fact that I just genuinely do enjoy doing it a bit more than research, is that there's a lot involved in academia that can put a lot of pressure on you in your career in terms of um, like constantly producing papers and having to find consistent funding for the research that you're doing. And if you're like if you like work at an institution, then you're also bound by like whatever their requirements are for research in terms of how frequently you publish or what kind of research you do. um, and I just didn't like the idea of being so um, like constrained in in academia, especially with like the kind of research that I like doing, which is definitely becoming a bit of a problem in the current climate of the world. The kind of research that I do is not as um, widely accepted as necessary, is what I'll say. Um, I hate that I have to be like so choosy with my words and I can't just say what I want to say, but I am worried that YouTube will like flag my life if I start saying certain phrases. Um, You struggle to believe in yourself when it comes to research. What do you mean by that? Like, do you not, is it that you don't like research, Jalen? Or do you feel like other people have made you doubt yourself when it comes to research? Because that also happens. Research academia is so elitist. I don't want to get on a soapbox too soon. We're only 20 minutes in, so I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard when like you have your own like personal things that you feel like might make something more difficult or do in fact make something more difficult, and those are decisions that are never easy to navigate whatsoever. So I feel that. If you don't mind me asking, Angela, do you feel like your program has been supportive of you in that regard? Like in terms of, you know, what you're navigating now and, you know, any issues that you've had up until this point? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, research is a lot. The stats part, I feel so hard. Um, have you ever considered um, qualitative research? I, I am a huge qualitative research fan. Had I not discovered qualitative research, I would probably feel very similarly to you. Um, because statistics, despite how many times I've taken that class, it just doesn't stick. Like, I take it, I do what I need to do to pass the class, and then after like a couple of months, I'm like reading a paper and nothing is making sense to me. But qualitative research is definitely, at least for me, one, a lot more digestible depending on who wrote it. Some people just can't write papers. That's the other thing. If ever you're like reading research and like it doesn't make sense, it's always important to remember that like sometimes it's not you, sometimes people just cannot write. I had a professor tell me that one time, and it like did wonders for my self-esteem. Um, but yeah, qual research I think is like a lot more digestible, makes a lot more sense in terms of its like application to real world, because qual research is by nature done in the context of real world experiences. So there's not like a lot of like needing to like jump hoops to figure out how the theory of the results connects to like actual practice. Um, so yeah, if you ever want to dive into some qual research, let me know and I can send you some resources. Wait, interesting. So you're going into a PsyD program, and you is your dissertation a requirement? Because I was under the impression that in PsyD programs you don't have to do a dissertation. Also, please feel free to share what your dissertation topic is. I would love to hear about it. Why do you have to redo your thesis? Wait, Jalen. I'm stressed out for you. Why do you have to redo your thesis? Okay, 50 pages isn't bad. All right. That's not bad. It's still a lot though to have to like conduct a study. Wait, are you redoing your thesis because you already have a master's? Is that what you mean? Like you already did a thesis for a master's? I'm sorry, I'm getting like really invested. Hello, others who are joining. I'm just here having a chat. Feel free to pop your questions if you have any in the chat. Or if you just want to talk about something that's on your mind, we can do that too. Ah, okay. That makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah, Anthony, go ahead. Ask your question. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. How old am I? How bold. No, I'm kidding. I'm 30. Yeah, I am 30. I am a rising fifth year in my program. So yeah. Why do you want to know? Okay. Goodbye then. I don't know. Are you trying to hit on me? That's crazy. I'm not here for that. Right? Like that was wild. Don't worry. Anthony was promptly blocked. Don't know what that was. Anyway, yeah, back to what we're here for. For those joining, if you don't already subscribe to my channel, I am a clinical psychology PhD candidate. I am in my 5th year. I just started internship. And that is why we are here. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, what the fuck? Nah, we're not doing this. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Hopefully he's gone. Yeah, Angela. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that your program has only been somewhat supportive. I think programs really, not to like make any excuses for them, I feel like programs do really struggle though in this regard. Um, I think for so long, programs haven't had to deal with issues such as this. And so when they do come up, they struggle to provide adequate support because they have never really had to before. So I'm sorry, but hopefully things do, you know, move towards a better outcome. Um, so I definitely think I will do more like clinical work primarily, although I wouldn't be opposed to like teaching on the side, not like pursuing like tenureship or anything, definitely not that, but like I wouldn't mind being like an adjunct somewhere. Um, the class that I taught this past, both of the classes that I taught this past year, I really enjoyed teaching them. I taught abnormal psych and culture, ethnicity, and mental health, and I really enjoyed teaching both of those classes. Um, and so, yeah, I don't think I'd be opposed to teaching. Researching is something that I do plan to continue to do. I just haven't fully figured out how I'm going to integrate it yet because I don't want to be, um, I don't want to be like tied to, even though like this is probably the only way I'm going to be able to do research, but I don't want to be like locked into like doing research for a particular institution, unless like that institution or organization is like really aligned with the kind of research that I want to do and like will support me fully in the kind of research that I want to do and not like put me in a situation where I have to compromise on the kind of research that I want to do. Um, so that part I'm still trying to figure out how it's gonna work, but I have plenty of time to figure that out because I'm not there yet. I also have so many other things I want to do. Um, if I were to fully list out everything I want to include in my like career trajectory as a therapist or as a psychologist, y'all would probably think I'm crazy because I genuinely do kind of want to do it all. And um, it sounds insane, but there are just so many parts of this field that I'm interested in that I don't feel like I should have to like compromise and like solely only focus on one in order to have a successful career. So that's where I'm at. I really wish y'all could see my cat right now. When he's not being a menace, he's so cute. Yeah. Also, totally fair. You don't have to disclose what school at all. Um, but yeah, I feel that. I feel like, yeah, it's so like important to have people in this field who like genuinely have a passion for research. I think there are way too many psychologists who do research solely for like the notoriety and like accolades that come with it. I know a few. So yeah, when I see that there are people who are in programs who like genuinely have a passion for research, I just wish like they had like unlimited support and resources, because I want to see those people like thrive and like succeed for real. Like I'm just hearing you say that, like I'm or reading you say that, like I'm like really rooting for you, Angela, and I know, you know, things are a little tough right now, but I really am manifesting greatness for you. Would you be comfortable sharing like what region of the country you're in? Just because I also feel like the way research happens is very different in different parts of the country. Same for you, Jalen. Would y'all feel comfortable sharing what regions of the country you're in? Like I'm in New York, but I would assume y'all know that from my videos. Eh, cat's hair. Also, I would love to know like what drew y'all to the field. I always like asking people how they got to psychology, um, especially like if they pivot from other careers, which I don't know if that's true for either of you, but I do just like to ask that question. Okay. I know someone that goes to school in the Midwest. Yeah. And she's spoken to me a little bit about, you know, how much of a struggle it can be sometimes. She's in a PsyD program though, which I think also is very different in terms of like the way research happens. But she's told me a little bit that research for her has been a bit of a struggle. We're in North Carolina. I was gonna say I'm jealous, but purely just because of the mountain views. I am not, it's so pretty there. It's so pretty there. Yeah, true. Same. Um, I also really enjoy, let me not say really enjoy, I enjoy doing assessments. And that's one aspect of clinical work that I want to make sure that I incorporate into my practice whenever I do start my practice. Um, so I feel you on that. I'm not familiar with the school though. Western Carolina. Did you always know you wanted to like do assessment, or was that something that came like as you started researching programs? Also, I love how this is just turned into like me asking y'all questions. I'm really bad at this whole Q&A thing because I just end up asking so many questions. Mm. Mhm. Wow, so you really like basically went through like a whole other program then. I mean, I imagine it doesn't necessarily feel like you're starting over, but like you said, like you're getting maybe more of a foundation through this program that you're starting. I've heard that a lot. I have a couple of there are a few people in my program who like were MSWs or are MSWs, and when I ask them why they decided to come to a clinical psych program, they say something very similar. Like they just feel like they were missing like a foundation of some sort. Um, so I think that makes a lot of sense. I feel like if I wasn't, though, like if I wasn't so sick of being in school already, a tiny part of me thinks I would probably do a social work program just because I also feel like their their curriculum is just like so different from psychology in like so many really important ways that I think matter a lot in the kind of work that I want to do. Um, but yeah, I'm not familiar with many counseling programs though. Mm, wow, that's so. I feel like that's kind of messed up to have to take a class on something that you can't actually do. Um, I feel like I would have been mad. Like, why am I taking a class on this if I can't actually do any of these things? Um, oh my God. Okay. Personality testing is so much fun. So, if you like assessment and like personality testing is something that you want to do, I feel like you're going to love it. Um, I love personality testing. Like, I like testing in general, but like personality testing is why I want to do assessments. It's so much fun. I really like it. A lot of people don't, especially like the Rorschach. Um, so many people, I think outside of like the New York area, um, feel like personality testing is a bit antiquated and like, especially the Rorschach, like doesn't actually tell you anything useful. I wholeheartedly disagree. Um, so I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you just because I love personality testing. Hello, folks who are joining. Feel free to pop any questions in the chat. Um, I'm just here chit chatting, taking questions, asking questions. Um, yeah. If you have anything to ask or you're wondering about in terms of like clinical psych programs or internship, anything of that nature, feel free to just ask. It's definitely not popular down here. Yeah, from people that I've encountered at like conferences and stuff, I'm now fully aware that I think New York, like the New York area, is like the only place left in the United States that like is gung ho for personality testing, um, which makes very little sense to me. Like I don't know what's going on with the rest of the country, but you can get a lot of information from tests other than like the WACE and the DCAFs, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is something that I always think about, especially when it comes to personality testing. It's like, because obviously like that's something that people question all the time, is like the validity of it. And like, how do we know it's actually measuring the constructs that like we think it's measuring? Um, and like, I always have that question about research in general, like certain measures. I'm just always like, this is such an interesting measure. And but there's always this question in the back of my mind of like, how do we know that it's measuring what we think it's measuring? And also like, how much of that is influenced, right, by like how we're defining the thing we're trying to measure. Um, all of that is just so interesting to me. Would I get my master's instead of a PhD if I had to go back in time? Do you mean like a master's in psychology, or like a like social work program? Because a master's in psychology you can't really do anything with. And I did get my master's in psychology. Yeah, okay. So a master's in psychology, at least in like my area, I'm not sure about other parts of the country. At least in my area in New York and New Jersey, you really can't do anything with the master's in psychology. It is quite literally here, like just a stepping stone to get to a PhD program. Um, Now, if you ask me, would I go back and do like a master's in social work? Mm, Despite how I feel about PhD programs in general, I also would probably still do it if I were to go back in time. Um, Simply because, like, without a PhD, you can't do assessment, and assessment is something that I'm interested in doing. Um, but like, and I tell this to everyone, like, unless like you absolutely need a PhD or a PsyD in order to do an aspect of the job you're wanting to do, like you shouldn't do it. And I will scream that from the rooftops until the day I die. Um, no, it didn't. It did not. Um, and there was actually like sort of like an uproar um, in my graduating master's class, because there were quite a few people, and I don't know if this was just like a lack of their own research, like that they did about the program, or if this was something that they were told and then got retracted. But there was actually a big uproar in my master's cohort when we were graduating, because so many people did not know that the program like didn't set us up to get licensed in anything with just the master's. Um, I knew that, but that was because I like spoke to a lot of people. Um, so I'm not sure if like they just got bad information, or if they just didn't look deeply enough into the program. But yeah, my program's master's, my school's master's program um, does not do anything for us, like at all. Um, so yeah, so I mean, what you can do with a master's in psychology, I'm pretty sure varies from state to state. Um, there are some states where with a master's you can like, I feel like practice is a strong word. You can like do counseling under the license, like the supervision of a licensed like therapist in like a group practice or private practice. Um, in other states, you can get licensed yourself, um, not as a psychologist, but as like a like mental health counselor or something, with a master's in psychology. Um, I just know that, as far as I'm aware, in the state of New York and New Jersey, that is not a thing here. Um, here you cannot do anything with a master's as far as like clinical work is concerned. Like you can't see patients or anything. That's just my own understanding of it, though. I could very much be wrong, and I highly encourage that like you look at your own state's guidelines and rules around that. Yeah, because I can only speak for what I know of the area that I'm in. Also, I don't know if it's showing up on your end, Caroline, but you have like a little symbol next to your name on my end. And when I click on it, it tells me that you're a top fan of my channel. So thank you. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate it so much. Favorite ways to reduce stress and relax. So I actually, in recent months, have picked up a few new ones. One of which I'm actually not sure. Well, what the hell? I was gonna say I'm not sure if I should share it, but whatever. I don't really care. I started doing pole fitness back in January of this year. It's like something that I've wanted to do for so long. And I finally like found a studio and went to a class, and I love it so much. It's just like, and I think I love it more for like this kind of like community that it's given me. Because the people who go to like pole fitness classes are just like so supportive. Like literally it's just like constant cheering and clapping no matter like what you do. And it's just like it's just such like a supportive space, and I think that's something that like I really need in my life is like I need supportive spaces. Um so that's one thing. The other thing is I've really been getting more intentional lately about incorporating like reading that's not academic related. Um so like reading just like regular novels from like authors that like I enjoy. Like I actually have it right here. I recently got this book, We Spread by Ian Reid. I haven't started it yet, but I have two of his other books, both of which were made into movies. One is on Netflix, and the other one like went to like theaters. The first one was I'm Thinking of Ending Things. That was the one that was on Netflix. I think it was Netflix. And then the one that went to theaters is called Foe, like FOE. If you're into like psychological thrillers, I highly recommend his books. I love them. But yeah, I've been really intentional about like incorporating readings like that into just like my spare time. Because it's like, it's nice to just like, even though I love what I do and I love being a therapist and I love like my research, sometimes I just want to like put a wall up and say like, all right, I'm not thinking about any of that today. And so the books really help me with that because it gives me something to focus on as opposed to just like me idly sitting here. Because inevitably, if I'm just idly sitting here, I'm going to end up turning to like working on something for school or a client or something like that. And what else? Oh, and then I really like baking. Um, I also this year got into making sourdough. I was like really late to the craze. I know everyone started making sourdough during Rona. Um, but I just like, I was too stressed at that point in time to do anything. But yeah, I started a sourdough starter, and I've been like baking sourdough regularly. I also bake other things. I just really like baking. Just like there's something about the process of it, and like just like involving my hands and um like creating something that like when I'm done I can eat it and like it tastes good. Um yeah, that's just like really calming for me and also like really rewarding. Um and also like if you make bread, it's like a really good way to get stress out because it involves like really getting in there, and like sometimes you got to be really aggressive with the dough, which is a good stress relief. So yeah, I would say those are like definitely like my top three right now for sure. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, the stream will be available. I will say I don't think you missed much. We've really just been sitting here talking. Um, but yeah, if you want to watch the stream afterwards, I'll have it available for you to watch. Um, but if you're here now, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Um, I don't know how much longer I'll be here. We're nearing an hour, and my cat has the zoomies right now. He's playing with his toy. So I don't know what that had to do with anything. I felt the need to announce that. Anyway, yeah. Any other questions? You're welcome, Angela. Also, Caroline, I'm so happy that my videos have been helpful. There's always like a small part of me, or it's not actually a small part. It's actually a huge part of me. Every time I post a video, I'm like, no one's going to think this is helpful. No one's going to think this is useful. I'm posting this for no reason. I'm posting this just to hear myself talk. My little imposter monster in my head likes to get to me and convince me that no one actually cares about anything that I post. And so yeah, it's nice when like I see that like people are commenting and saying that, you know, my videos are helpful, because then it makes me feel like I'm actually doing this for a reason and I'm not just being a weird narcissist. um, so yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support on the channel. I really do. Absolutely not. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Jalen. Absolutely not. um, I okay. So my feelings about this are twofold. One, in general, like a doctoral program takes up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And most days I would come home and I would sit in silence for like an hour just to decompress from the day. And also like just like as a therapist, when you have back-to-back sessions all day, when you get home, like sometimes you just like don't want to talk. um so there's that. Also, being in a doctoral program, especially if like your program isn't fully funded, money is tight. And so like going out in general would just stress me out because I'd be constantly worried about like how I was going to pay for something. um and like how much like whatever I was spending money on was going to impact my budget for un momento, my mother is calling me. Hello. Okay, I'm on live on YouTube. Will you okay. All right, bye, love you. Okay. Sorry. She needs me to do something for her. But yeah, like I was always worried about like how the money I was spending when I would go out would like impact my budget for the month. So there are those aspects of it. And then the other part of it is that me personally, like fully, just entirely me as a person, I am not someone who I'm not someone who thrives in like constant social environment or like constant social engagement. I'm like 100% introverted. There is not a single extroverted bone in my body. And so social engagement in general tends to drain me as opposed to um, like breathe life into me. And I run out of a social battery very quickly. Um, so in terms of like keeping in touch with like friends and stuff, like I just struggle with that naturally as an introvert. And in terms of like visiting family, um, I don't have much family up here. Most of my family, like my parents and stuff, live either down south in Florida or in other states, or out of the country entirely. Um, and so, just by the nature of that, um, seeing family has always been difficult for me. Um, Romantic relationships, um, I think coming into my program, I decided that, um, or not decided, but I sort of came into it with the mindset that like of like my social circle, like romantic relationships was kind of like the last on my priority list. Just because I just had more important things to worry about. Um, I was in a relationship briefly, if a year is brief, but that was with someone that I had known for quite a long time. It wasn't like a new connection, so I didn't have to do as much of like the early like heavy lifting in terms of like getting to know the person. Like we sort of like already knew each other, and um, so like a lot of like the more like time investing that you have to do in the beginning when you're getting to know someone, like I didn't have to do. Um, so yeah, I'm so sorry if I seem distracted. I am doing something for my mother at the moment on my phone. Um, Give me 2 seconds. I'm so sorry. Okay. Um, what else? I was just going to ask if my main interest is conducting research studies. That honestly depends on how much research experience you already have. Um, Typically, I suggest doing a master's before your PhD if you have less than like a year or two of research experience. Um, because PhD programs um, like to have folks who have significant research experience before they come into the program, because a lot of the research that you will be doing as a PhD student is a bit more like independent and self-driven. despite the fact that like you will be in a research lab, and like working on projects in the lab, your own research is very like self-driven. Like there's no one telling you how to do research, basically. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. Hello. I just ordered it. 5 minutes. Bread. RAV4. I'll know once you get there. All right. Love you. Bye. Oh God. Yeah, like I was saying, it really does depend on how much research experience you already have. Also, in terms of the kind of research that you want to do, I would say, because I don't want to like discourage you, but I would say just really do your homework in terms of like the programs that you're applying to and the faculty there, and just like the kind of research that they seem to support. Because you're absolutely right, a lot of funding is being cut right now, especially in, like DEI related research. So, yeah, I just say really, really do your homework. Really read up on the faculty members, and just make sure that when you're applying, whenever you do decide to apply, that you're feeling, like wherever you end up, you would be supported in that research, because it is becoming more and more difficult to do that kind of research without institutional support. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Okay, yeah, that's great. Have you like done anything with that research data? If not, I highly recommend you do so. Either like, come up with some study and or some analysis and like present it at a conference, or write it up in a paper, or both. I don't know when you plan to apply, but yeah, I recommend doing as much of that as you can before you do apply. What else y'all got for me? I'll be here for maybe like another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna head off. The unfortunate part about my internship this year is that I have to be up very, very early in the mornings. I wake up at 5 a.m., which means I am now at a point where I'm in bed and potentially asleep by like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I will probably be here for like 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it. So what other questions do y'all have? Or if you don't have any more questions, that's fine too. Yeah, of course. I will also say, this feels so weird. So my channel membership, if you join my channel membership, like the lowest tier, you can gain access to my Discord server that has myself and a few other folks in there who are either in the process of applying to programs or are currently in programs. And like people are always asking questions in there. So if you are able to do so, feel free to join my channel membership so you can join the Discord server. Or if you don't, that's totally fine. You can just like find me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked on my channel somewhere. And I also think in my Instagram handle is in the bio, not the bio, the description of my videos. I like every single one. And so always just like feel free to DM me on Instagram if you have a question. Although I can't guarantee that I will see it right away because it goes to my message requests and I don't always check those regularly. So, but those are the two ways that you can contact me if you have questions in the future. And I'm always happy to help in whatever way I can. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm probably going to get out of here so I can start doing my nighttime routine, even though the sun doesn't set here until like 9 p.m., which really throws me. But thank y'all for being here. Thank you for all your questions. I'm glad I got to do this. I haven't done a live in I think like over a year. So it was nice to do this again. I really do want to try to do these more often. Oh, JK, we got a question. What are your thoughts on Dr. and Behavioral Health? I actually cannot answer that because I am not familiar with doctoral programs in behavioral health. I'm sorry. Because I feel like that's a really good question. That's not even an avenue that I ever thought to pursue. Because I just always knew I wanted to do psychology. But I don't know, maybe I'll look into it and I will maybe do a video on it one day. I'm always looking for topics to cover in videos. So maybe that'll be something that I do because I've done a video about PsyDs. I've done a video about like comparing different therapist career trajectories through school. So yeah, but I'm sorry I like can't fully answer that for you. I wish I could. But yeah, okay. Thanks, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Like I said, feel free to DM me if you have any questions that pop up in the future. You can also join my membership to join the Discord server. So yeah. Thanks, y'all. Bye.